So I wanted to give my perspective from as a student of alchemy, Twitchy Witches alchemy courses, all of them. Something that I chose to do versus something that I was sort of nudged into by doctors and stuff. Is in therapy, there's a this is the therapy versus alchemy discussion. So in therapy, they it feels like there's a clear diagnosis that they're trying to achieve, and as somebody who doesn't like, has avoided that sort of help because of the labels, because of having experts define what's wrong with my brain and what it's capable of, or giving their own assessment of like why I am reacting a certain way to what my body's been through. Like, what my body's been through for me is clearly because of the trauma. Like my exhaustion and all this stuff, it's clearly because of the trauma my body's been through. You know, not being able to sleep for 3.5 years because I was constantly in pain and waking up and throwing up every single night, right? But that has now been called depression because it fits a certain mold or a certain set of, it's called depression and anxiety, rather than a trauma response to the physical trauma that my body has been through, right? So they're limited in where they can put you, and they have to answer by their set of rules and their construct, right? So there's not as much freedom to explore things as there is in alchemy. Alchemy, you are guiding yourself through these processes. You're creating your own story. You're learning to unidentify with certain things rather than identify with whatever constructs are already made for you. And that's the biggest difference that I've noticed. I'm very new to therapy, so I don't have the the years of experience that I do with alchemy, since alchemy was I guess offered by Twitchy. I've been in all of them. I was a couple months late to the first one because of all my symptoms. But I did everything I could to catch up, and I have, like, that experience, the alchemy experience, is why I have grown to become grateful for being mostly bedridden, for being in this condition, because I have the time for it. I have the time to explore myself, what I'm going through, to be in a space where I can be messy and still be loved and accepted. And you're doing it in community, which is, you know, even better. It's the people that you meet, and but especially, like, the I don't know if I have already, it's the groundedness, um, the being grounded in myself and learning to understand my brain, um, and what it's going through in a more symbolic way, I guess. It's more, not symbolic, but with symbolism. Like through symbolism, I can help make sense of my brain and how to work with it and, you know, give it a name so that I'm not identified with whatever's happening. Which there's a little bit of that in therapy as well, but it's not like a practice. And yeah, I've been a guide in most of the seasons, and I'll be a guide again this season. So I'm a huge fan of the work that Twitchy offers. So I highly, highly recommend this. And I'm not saying don't do therapy. It's, you know, it has its own thing. It's just, you know, its own benefits. Thing is what I say when I can't remember words, when Brian doesn't have the vocabulary readily available for me. Yeah. So that's all I can think of now. The end.